you said, let's make a game this week. That's it. Let's do it.
I said that. Did we? We didn't make the game in 1 week, though, did we?
We had a thing.
We had a thing.
In a week.
I had wanted to work with Zyba and Luigi because they were doing all this awesome stuff. And so we said to them, guys, we got this idea for this game where you just walk to the right and explore something. Do you want to make this? And they were like, yeah.
Yeah, and we just actually went to, we hang out at Boston Game Loop. I think it happens every year. It was a pretty cool session on game poems. And what the hell does that mean, game poem? What would it mean to, like, you know, the analog of a poem? We were mostly actually thinking about like the short form, like, oh, this is gonna be a week-long project, so that's like a poem. It's like a one short stanza of a game. That was the original idea, but we actually, from there, we lost all brevity, but kept all artistic pretense of poetry.
Yeah, so I think one of the first things we did was to sit down in the kitchen of the Indie Game Collective here in Cambridge, Boston area, and the way that I always thought video games were created when I was about 10 was that you'd sit down with paper and...
Yeah, it did feel kind of like living out that fantasy of making a game. Like, all you gotta do is draw it, and then like, it's a game, this is gonna go here and that's gonna go there, now let's just ship it to the art team and the programming team. And when the whole task was scaled to like the size of a week, that actually kind of made some sort of insane sense of like, we're just gonna doodle stuff, hand it to these guys, and this guy will paint it pretty, this guy will program it, and we have a game, we're done, we ship it. When you get to a bigger project, then you have to like, the realities of, oh, we have to actually round this corner and do this, or integrate this API and do these things, and that's why it takes a lot of hard work and time. But when we were sort of living this fantasy that it was going to be just a 5-day game, well, we're not going to integrate, we're not going to do all this stuff, just the simple things. It was a sort of beautiful, pure fantasy of game development.
You know, it was at that table that I think the concept of writing really started to germinate. And tell me if this is true for yourself. So we sat down, we had these pieces of paper, and we drew the world on them, and we had our story behind every object in the on the paper. So this mountain is because of this sculpture is because of this. And then we had a colleague, Eric Asmussen of 82 Apps, sit down, and we said, okay, now tell us back this story. And his interpretation of that story was utterly different from what we were thinking, but it was completely consistent.
Yeah. He was in the kitchen playing, basically sitting there looking at our drawings, playing a game in his head and out loud, saying to us that we hadn't made. Like, he was just, he thought this is what you were supposed to do. It's like, oh, so this is what you're doing here. You go out there and do that. Like, yeah, that's a good idea. That is our game now. That's what we're doing.